30 shots fired outside the White House. Secret Service reportedly rushed the press, who were on the north lawn, into the press briefing room. ABC reporter Selena Wang was in the middle of filming when the shots rang out. Hey, you know what's crazy? Trump's proposed ballroom is going to be like a protected zone, right? It's gonna have like bulletproof glass and shit. Man, that would be really nice to have right now, would it not?
That President Trump has said a deal is close, only for the two sides to remain far apart.
That took her about 8 shots to react to it. That's a pretty slow reaction time. What happened? Did the press get culturally enriched? I have no idea. But 30 shots fired outside of the White House. That's pretty fucking crazy. Gunshots were reportedly heard outside the White House per NBC News, with approximately 20 to 30 rounds fired. Secret Service ordered members of the press gathered on the North Lawn to run inside the briefing room. Details are still emerging, and nothing has been confirmed about a suspect, a motive, or whether anyone was hurt. That's just a normal day in DC. Everyone chill out. Jesus Christ. Footage from the White House reportedly shows a single law enforcement officer walking down the driveway. It may signal the immediate situation is contained, though nothing official has been confirmed. Still developing. That's kind of fucking scary, bro. That's kind of fucking scary. I guess the Ivanka thing from yesterday? Outrage is erupting nationwide after an Iranian IRGC-trained Islamist plans to assassinate Ivanka Trump, daughter of the president, at her Florida home. FAFO? Fuck around, find out. It could be arriving sooner than we anticipated. Islamists are scum. The trained Iraqi national, who was taken into custody last week, allegedly made a pledge to kill Ivanka and had a blueprint of her Florida home. This was in response to the killing of Iranian military chief Qasem Soleimani. A source telling the New York Post that the suspect said this, quote, "We need to kill Ivanka to burn down the house of Trump the way he burned down our house." According to the DOJ, the terrorist suspect has been behind attacks on multiple U.S. and Jewish targets. He was arrested and brought to the U.S. to face multiple terrorism-related charges.
Trump was allegedly the target of an assassination plot by a suspected terrorist who was a member of the Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. The trained Iraqi national...
Why are they playing music that would play during like a mission briefing in a Hitman game? Like what is this choice?
Who was taken into custody last week allegedly made a pledge to kill Ivanka and had a blueprint of her Florida home. This was in response to the killing of Iranian military chief Qasem Soleimani. A source telling the New York Post that the suspect said this, quote, "We need to kill Ivanka to burn down the house of Trump the way he burned down our house." According to the DOJ, the terror suspect has been behind attacks on multiple U.S. and Jewish targets. He was arrested and brought to the U.S. to face multiple terrorism-related charges. And one person is dead and
that's just a weird choice in music. How did he get a blueprint of her house, is my question. Can, like, just anyone randomly pull a blueprint for someone else's house? That seems like it'd be kind of dangerous, wouldn't it? Public records? I don't think you should be able to pull the public records of someone else's home blueprint. That's kind of weird. That's kind of strange. If it's in Florida, you can probably request it. Shouldn't that, like, flag you as, like, a suspicious individual? Like, if I just went and I was like, yeah, okay, I would like Hassan Piker's house blueprint, wouldn't someone be like, that's kind of weird, what do you want that for? That's strange. That's very fucking strange. Mike, thank you. Blueprints are able to be pulled anywhere in the U.S. It's wrong, but it's legal. Yeah, that should be changed, in my opinion. Breaking, Secret Service sniper teams are now reportedly visible on the White House roof. This is a standard protective response after a security incident, with teams deploying to elevated positions to secure the grounds. It fits the active posture following the earlier reports of gunfire and the press being moved inside. I feel like you don't get to do a lot, but it must be fun to be a Secret Service sniper. Can also look up property taxes and such. Thanks. That's kind of weird. Apparently it was near the White House and not at the White House. I mean, it looks like it was at the White House from what these footages were showing us. We watched that video already. What the fuck is this? Reports of gunfire? It was on camera, you know? Journalist of the White House is posted from inside the lockdown. The journalist reported outside the press briefing doors right now. U.S. Secret Service officers, guns drawn, told us to run inside. White House is now on full lockdown. Secret Service officers were seen with weapons drawn. This follows reports of 20 to 30 rounds fired outside the White House. Situation remains active and developing. No confirmation yet on injuries, suspect, or President Trump's status. That is quite literally insane, but it also feels like a new one of these shootings happens every day, and then all of the Democrats with their horrific terrorist rhetoric will come out and be like, we need to turn down the temperature. It's time to turn down the temperature. It's the right-wing violence, even though it's always left-wingers doing it. CNN has confirmed reporters at the White House heard dozens of gunshots, with the gunfire appearing to come from the west side of the grounds. CNN reporters on scene heard dozens of rounds fired. Gunshots reportedly came from the west side of the White House, possibly just outside the grounds. No statement yet from the White House or the Secret Service. Press were moved off the north lawn into the briefing room. Journalists reported Secret Service officers with weapons drawn ordering press to run inside. White House remains on lockdown. No confirmation yet on injuries, a suspect, motive, or President Trump's status.
We have breaking news. CNN reporters heard what appeared to be dozens of gunshots near the White House a short time ago. Julia Benbrook is now inside in the press briefing room. Julia, bring us up to speed what you heard and what you know.
Yeah, I'm here with other White House reporters, photographers. We are now in the briefing room. This is where Secret Service rushed us to after we heard what appeared to be dozens of gunshots. And I want to paint the picture for you a little bit. We're here in the briefing room, and then you can kind of see out the window. Secret Service is currently...
Since nobody knows what's going on, and there could be an active shooter out there, even with the Secret Service snipers on the roof, you have to be some kind of, like, brain-damaged retard to stand in front of the fucking windows. But I guess I repeat myself, since they're journalists.
Working the north lawn there to make sure everything is okay. But that's where we do live shots, is those green tints out there. And I was just speaking to you from out there just before this happened. And
you'd bet that they're bulletproof or resistant? I mean, they might be, since the Secret Service told them to stay in this room. It could be bulletproof glass. I would still not want to wager that chance. I would be, if there's somebody shooting around here, this is the closest they'll ever get to dangerous journalism. True. The cameras make you bulletproof.
Then reporters were rushed into the briefing room after, again, what appeared to be dozens of gunshots. Now, we have reached out to Secret Service and the White House for more information.
What's the difference between bullet resistant and bulletproof?
It's really unclear right now if anyone was injured. These gunshots, though, to be clear, appeared outside of the grounds, closer to the EOB building, which is on the west side of the White House. So while we could hear them, we're not exactly sure where these took place. Again, if anyone was injured, we are waiting on more information. Okay. But just the visual of all these reporters running in here, this happening just about a month after the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where a lot of this same group was on the ground in a situation
I can only see two of them,
a shooter there as well. A scary moment.
It would be a scary moment, man. Footage from News Nation shows the moment that reporters were rushed into the White House press briefing room after the gunshots. The clip captures the response in real time, with members of the press moving quickly inside as the Secret Service secured the grounds. It lines up with earlier reports of roughly 20 to 30 rounds and the sniper teams now posted on the roof. Still no official word on a suspect, a motive, or any injuries. Just a recording of it. Secret Service response was fast as fuck, though, so that's kind of relieving. Must have been men on duty today. Do I want updates from the tap? They're moving a bunch of shit to TAC channels, but you can relay what's still public. Well, yeah. What kind of stuff do you got going on? I don't know what a TAC channel is. No DEI hires in sight. Bulletproof is for higher caliber stuff, like the MI-24 can resist 23mm at some angles and range. Bullet resistant is for handguns and shot shell. This is happening while the Foxy wasn't off. You can't imagine what's going to happen the next time the Foxy goes on vacation. Don't say that. Secret Service is investigating reports of gunfire at 17th and Pennsylvania Ave Northwest, literally on the edge of the White House complex. So yeah, this is the White House complex, and it's right here, right off the side of the grounds, Renwick Gallery of the Smithsonian. DC Fire and EMS personnel are reportedly responding to 2 patients on the northwest corner of the White House. 2 patients reportedly being attended to by fire and EMS. The patients are located on the northwest corner of the White House, and this follows reports of dozens of gunshots from the west side of the grounds. White House remains on lockdown. Press were moved into the briefing room with Secret Service weapons drawn. Still no official statement from the White House or Secret Service, no confirmation yet on the patient's conditions, identities, a suspect, motive, or President Trump's status. Good lord. Yeah. So, like, I can understand, like, wanting to get all of the, like, pictures and whatnot as a journalist. If I don't know what's going on, I don't know how many shooters they are, I don't know how, like, what they're shooting with, maybe they even have bombs, I don't know. I would just not feel safe going in front of the window, man. I'd be like, I'm just not gonna be at the window. Yeah, ooh, the locks on the windows are gold colored. That's cute. Additional footage has emerged capturing the moment shots were fired outside the White House during a live broadcast with an anchor on air.
President Trump promises the prices will go down, but his grip on Republican support on Capitol Hill?
Oh, he was a bit farther away from the gunfire. They were way louder on that other lady's stream.
Will go down, but his grip on Republican support on Capitol Hill?
He recognized that a lot faster than the lady as well. Let's see. I think that took like 3 shots for him to notice.
Support on Capitol Hill?
Yep, about 3 shots.
It's weakening.
He plays more Call of Duty. He's a man. Yeah, he's a man. Bro went uh-oh quick. Yeah. He reacted to the first, took 2 to confirm, and was down and running at 5. Yep. Very, very fast reaction for this guy. Doesn't look like he was in a tent like the other reporter. Also that. Glenn, thank you. The media, if it bleeds, it leads. Oh, Jesus. I mean, like, I can understand, again, like, if they got some good picture of, like, whoever the shooter was, that would like be a career-breaking moment, but like, damn, man, if I don't know what's going on and I don't know who's trying to kill what, that's pretty horrifying prospects. I love the way that orders are yelled sometimes. Broadcast, not stream. These are weird antiques called TV people. Man down report? From Wherst. Wherst is the man down report. Is this breaking? Yes, this is happening now. This is breaking. More footage has surfaced capturing gunfire heard near the White House. DC Fire and EMS are reportedly treating 2 patients on the northwest corner of the White House. God damn. That is loud as fuck, too. Someone called for further details on man down to go to TAC.
Apparently was directed toward the White House. If you get toward the west side of the White House, and we're trying to figure out precisely where this was, you have the old executive office building now called the Eisenhower Executive Office Building, which is kind of a big complex if you're working from west to east toward the White House. So we know that he was firing in the direction of the White House, and this is the preliminary report from someone who's very senior and would have direct knowledge of this information. Again, a lot of people in town. There was one source that had, questioned me earlier, even before we had this information. There's a lot of motorcyclists in town for the Memorial Day events. They always come for this time, and people thought it might have been, motorcycles backfiring or something like that. There's quite a cacophony of that but this is clearly someone who came up and was firing at the direction of the White House. And the president, of course, is at the White House today.
Hey, Chad, Kevin here. If I could just get you to break down again, based on what you've heard, this person was taken down. Does that mean they have been neutralized, or do you think they were they sort of made physical contact with this person? I'm just trying to get some clarity there.
I was told that they were shot because the Secret Service returned fire against this individual.
Gotcha. And have you heard from any cabinet secretaries or any other high-level officials about what's happening?
Yeah. This is all we've gotten right now. You know, it's Memorial Day weekend. People are spread to the four winds, and the reason I, always jump in on this is that, I used to cover local government, and the best stories about the county sheriff's department would come out through the county commissioners and vice versa. So when you cover Congress and something's happening in the administration,
that's good that they got one of them down at least. Good God. Every time I see any kind of like female in uniform, I'm just gonna think back to that Home Depot incident where the mob just kept pulling him off, or like pulling her off of the guy that they were trying to attack, and then she tasered him. Silent as a church mouse. Another shooting at the White House. We do not have a ton of information at the moment. Trump was expecting to make a big Iran announcement before the shooting started. Oh, fuck. White House still on lockdown. Shots fired. Shots fired. FBI is on the scene supporting Secret Service. 18 minutes ago, Secret Service posted this. We are aware of reports of shots fired near 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest. We're working to corroborate the information with personnel on the ground. Additional information will be provided as it becomes available. We don't know anything about the shooter yet. We do not. We don't know anything about the shooters. We have seen one person say that they have neutralized a person, but there was also a news line that said that there were two people being attended to, two patients being attended to.
And I'm glad you mentioned
so possible that there were two.
Here, it was
unsure
towards the aftermath. Once, from what we've been, just talking about, it seems like law enforcement have been intervening just with any public here who might be concerned of what's happening, but there is no sense of, of alarm.
Just joined what's happening. Another shooting at the White House.
A sense of, there's obviously a sense of concern of what's happening, but definitely just a lot of questions of what is going on. When you see this amount of law enforcement, that's what you're sort of getting, right? Questions of what happened. Is the situation under control? And I can tell you just from law enforcement being here, this is a good sign that we have Secret Service here on standby. We have DC police as well and FBI. So that I can tell you, although we're getting very limited information.
Damn, my egg is so fucking cold.
What unfolded as far as those gunshots and that shooter who fired multiple gunshots, but just getting really reaction from people in this area. It's more
could we go like a week without some life-changing crazy-ass news? I wish, man.
Just to get you just a little bit more on what we're seeing out here. Again, we still have no indication yet of who was there other than...
Oh, jeez, if only somebody could actually do something. Like maybe the people who were elected to do things. If only! But we can't touch the fix everything switch. It's not allowed.
We have Secret Service, DC Police. We also know that Fox News reporting an individual fired shots at least 3 times outside the White House. We know that the president was inside, and we also know that that person was then shot by Secret Service, but still trying to get more details on this case. Sydney?
The left doesn't understand the Pandora's box they would open if they succeeded in assassinating Trump. They probably count on nothing will happen because nothing has happened yet. They don't defend themselves, they don't fight back, and anytime they do, we can just call them racist bigots and they shut up. So I would imagine, much like Sam Hyde said, you pretty much have 2 weeks after Kirk's assassination to do something about it. And if that time elapses and nothing is done, nothing will be done. And he was completely correct.
Yeah. Do you guys mind if we ask you a couple questions? Just in terms of, yeah, mainly just, you know, I know you guys were trying to see the White House and then you kind of bump into this type of scene.
In the, like, you know, the memory, how do you call it? The memorial, like, big building there. Washington Memorial. And we saw, like, tons of cars.
Can't tell if ESL or missing a chromosome.
A couple of, like, ambulance just everywhere, like going from there, and then we started walking back to our hotel, and we saw like they closed all the streets from like 3 streets away, and they didn't tell us what happened. They just said, please keep walking.
Dispatcher throwing a PHI child. Last message. No, somebody was just irritated and wanted them to be not exactly there.
Yeah, I know. And Mom, you're seeing obviously all the policemen. You guys were hoping to visit the White House. You guys are here on vacation for Memorial Day weekend. What's going through your mind?
It was scary. I didn't understand what happened, and then I understand that
she
it
sounds
was
kind of French.
shooting, and they closed the White House. It's very scary.
I know.
I hope everything is okay.
Yeah. But it's an interesting story to tell, so.
I just thought when I'm gonna tell it to my friends.
And you guys said you guys live in Jersey right now.
Yes.
Before Jersey, you guys were...
we were from Israel, yes.
Yeah.
What?
I mean, obviously that kind of all ties a little bit together. I mean, how are you feeling? I mean, this is just such a tumultuous
I would not
time,
have guessed
right? I mean,
Israel.
With what's happening around the world with the war, what are your thoughts on it?
Fucking schmear lies. Thank you for the swastikas. As an Israeli Canadian Jew, they're Israeli. That guy nailed it.
We love Israel, and we hope that Israel will eventually will have silence, and we can live in peace in Israel, and not afraid
they want
that
to go
something
home.
will happen to us.
We want peace.
We
want to be like, I have Magen David necklace, but I took it off when I came here. So, you know, it's scary to go around with this kind of like sign that say, well, I'm here, you can't hurt me. That's really scary. So I just hope one day we can all be proud from where I come and not be scared to go in the street and tell where I'm from. That's it. I think it's what all of us want.
Can I just say, it's kind of strange that in America, our president and our Capitol building got fired upon, and the first people this newscaster finds to interview are foreign Israelis? How does that happen? How do we have such a high propensity of foreigners that the first people interviewed are foreigners and not Americans in our fucking capital during a tragedy about our president? NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Julie Sierkin, was preparing to report from the White House when multiple shots could be heard being fired nearby. Literally zero self-preservation instinct. This is what I want to be, chat. I just want to be a woman. I want to stop thinking. I want to have imminent danger to my life and then just go, what is that? What is that? The self-preservation of a plant. Holy shit, dude. Why is she wearing a 1970s sofa? That's a great question. Wants to control guns, doesn't know what gunfire sounds like. This is someone that you know votes for things that never have repercussions that come upon them. Journalist is not well informed on what gunshots sound like. That's impossible. They banned guns there. They put up a sign and everything. A much different response than the other reporters who ducked and took cover. Even that lady who was very slow to respond, it took her about 7 shots before she even noticed what was happening. She still had a better reflex to save her own life than this lady did. Suspect approached checkpoint near White House and fired at officers, U.S. law enforcement officials said. They also said a suspect in shooting near the White House is down and taken to the hospital. Scene contained and no law enforcement personnel have been injured. That's good. That's good. This is the chief national security reporter from Reuters. So I would believe what he says in this case here. This White House correspondent for News Nation. Shooting near the White House per law enforcement source and admin source. 17th and Penn Secret Service officer involved shooting. A man walked up with a pistol and fired 3 times. Secret Service returned fire. Male suspect was taken down, and a total of 2 adults have been shot. One was transported unconscious and not breathing. A civilian was struck, per sources. No one got inside the White House perimeter. That's very interesting information, actually. If they had a pistol and they only fired 3 times, were then all of the other, 27 shots the Secret Service shooting at the guy? Brett Baer saying from Chad Pergram. Chad is the chief congressional correspondent for Fox. Gunman came up on the west side of the White House at Gate 17 near 14th Street and brandished a pistol, don't know what type. Gunman fired towards the White House 3 times. U.S. Secret Service returned fire, don't know how many shots were fired, but apparently took the gunman down. A bystander was struck during the exchange, a bystander of civilian not known. Gunman did not get inside the perimeter of the White House. I'm assuming this bystander of civilian not known is supposed to be, condition or status of civilian is not known. Imagine getting downed by a high point. I mean, I'd be pretty pissed if I was just a random guy and I happened to get shot by the Secret Service attempting to take down an active shooter. But also, kind of understand. They might need a bit better training. I shouldn't have gotten shot, but also, that I just was in a really bad area. That kind of fucking sucks for that guy. I'd understand. Kirsche upon getting shot by Secret Service by accident. It's just I gotta kind of think of the ramifications of the incident. Do you really try and sue them because they were trying to take down an active shooter? I don't know, man. You get I just went to DC and all I got was shot by the Secret Service. You could maybe ask for that.
Blow them till kingdom come. We saw him say that on Truth Social. So Dana, certainly very encouraging developments. Oh my gosh, we just heard gunshots.
Hold on, how many did that take?
Blow them till kingdom come. We saw him say that on Truth Social. So Dana, certainly very encouraging developments.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 shots before she turned around. At least she reacted, and she was the fastest woman to react. This was the fastest woman reaction on tap, bro.
We lost. Alex had breaking news on the Strait. We have also breaking news. We heard gunshots live from the White House with our very own Alexandra Ingersoll. We saw her duck, and then we lost contact with her. We'll try to get.
She was also the only woman to identify the threat. That is correct. Give her that credit. She's ahead of the others.
In touch with her soon, but wow. Okay, never had that happen.
This lady's really pretty.
Before, so we'll get the updates on that. My team is working to bring details to you live and soon. In the meantime, we'll go to this.
She has headphones in, so it's probably muffled. Bro, that Asian guy reacted at the first shot. Don't make excuses. Breaking from NBC News, shortly after 6 p.m. tonight, a male suspect who may have previously been known to DC police and the Secret Service. He was on our radar! Why is it every time? Approached a Secret Service checkpoint near the White House and started firing indiscriminately at U.S. Secret Service agents. U.S. Secret Service fired at the man and he is down. A bystander was also hit. At least 2 people shot near the White House, including a possible suspect, officials say. The White House is briefly locked down on Saturday evening after gunfire erupted nearby, injuring at least 2 people, according to 4 law enforcement officials briefed on the matter. 1 person is in grave condition, the officials said. One of the individuals is believed to be a suspect, but it isn't clear if the second person is also a suspect or a bystander. The investigation shows that the U.S. Secret Service engaged with the suspect and fired at the person, according to 2 senior officials briefed on the matter. Those officials say that at this early juncture, there doesn't appear to be any injuries to Secret Service agents. The Secret Service said on X it was aware of reports of shots fired near 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, and is working to corroborate the information with personnel on the ground. An NBC News team at the White House heard between 20 and 30 shots around 6:04 p.m. The Secret Service agents urged reporters who were gathered outside on the North Lawn to run inside the press briefing room. Secret Service was posted just outside the room with guns drawn as the White House went into lockdown. The lockdown, which included the White House grounds, was lifted at 6:46 p.m. FBI Director Kash Patel said on X that the FBI is on the scene and supporting the Secret Service. President Donald Trump is in the White House. Vice President J.D. Vance was confirmed to be at the White House earlier today, but it is unclear if he's still there or if he had left prior to the incident. The U.S. Capitol Police did not immediately respond to a request for information on the situation. So the new info here seems to be that the suspect was previously known to the Secret Service. That's a very interesting new nugget of information on their radar, if you will. You can laugh at all the people saying staged or false flag, but seriously, how many goddamn times do we hear they were on our radar? Because it feels like every freaking time. I think that's once again an indictment of our anti-justice system just never doing its job. They're just like, yeah, we know this guy and we know he's dangerous, but like, why do something about him until he actually kills someone, you know? It's just like, what the fuck? Why is it always he was on our radar? What good is having a radar when you just watch the missile come in and hit every time? Yeah, fucking exactly, man. Like, it's ridiculous. Tom Winter here reporting, it isn't clear whose round hit the bystander. It was obviously a chaotic scene, officials say. Secret Service shot a person near the White House, and a bystander was also shot, a law enforcement official says. Secret Service shoots person. Both individuals who were shot were said to be in critical condition, according to the official, who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the investigation. Journalists working at the White House on Saturday reported hearing a series of gunshots and were told to seek shelter inside the press briefing room. On X, the Secret Service said it was aware of reports of shots fired near 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest, 1 block from the White House, and was working to corroborate information with personnel on the ground. FBI Director Kash Patel said officers were responding to shots fired and said he would update the public as we're able. Donald Trump was inside the White House at the time. In a post shared on X, Selena Wang, the senior White House correspondent for ABC, shared dramatic video of the moment she said she heard what sounded like dozens of gunshots and ducked for cover, writing that she had been performing a task that reporters at the White House do day in and day out, filming themselves on a cell phone for a social media post. Wang's video shows her speaking for a few seconds about Trump's statements earlier Saturday about a potential Iran deal. You know what's crazy? These journalists were in more danger than anyone who was like a political person on the grounds during January 6th. Which politician was it that like claimed they were in fear for their life and they weren't even at the grounds on that day? I can't remember if that was AOC or if that was Nancy Pelosi. That was AOC. Thank you, chat. New statement from the Secret Service. Individual approached the U.S. Secret Service checkpoint on 17th and Penn. Individual removed a weapon from his bag and began firing at posted officers. U.S. Secret Service returned fire and the suspect later died.
Hannah.
What? A bystander was struck by gunfire and the president was inside the White House.
Bystander, both wounded, right?
That's crazy that I'm getting information faster than this lady on the ground. And then the full statement is, shortly after 6 p.m. Saturday, an individual approached a Secret Service checkpoint in the area of 17th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest. A preliminary investigation indicates that as the individual approached, he removed a weapon from his bag and began firing at posted officers. Secret Service police officers returned fire, striking the suspect, who was then transported to an area hospital where he later died. During the shooting, a bystander was also struck by gunfire. It remains unclear whether the bystander was struck by the suspect's initial gunfire or during the subsequent exchange of gunfire. No injuries were sustained by Secret Service personnel. The president was at the White House during the incident but was not impacted. The incident remains under investigation. Well, I'm glad that the shooter is dead. I'm glad that he got sent to the grave. That's wonderful news. You have a team of turbo autists grabbing everything and collating it. This is the Honorable Chatter Info Network. The Honorable Chatter Info Network is much more valuable than any news network. It's kind of crazy. Well, I guess hopefully overnight we'll get some more information. Sometimes it takes a hot fucking minute to get these identities out here.